Okay, let's dive in. Have you ever had that feeling, you're trying really hard, you're budgeting, saving money, doing all the things you're told to do, but then you look at, well, the price of groceries, gas, everything just keeps going up.
Yeah.
And it just feels like you're, kind of treading water, like that old advice maybe isn't quite enough anymore.
Absolutely. It's a really common frustration, and it hits exactly what we want to explore today.
Right.
We're looking at some ideas from a source called Mastering the New Wealth Paradigm.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission here is to try and get past that feeling of just running in place. We want to pull out the key stuff from this source. What does it say is really happening with wealth building today? According to them, anyway.
Let's get right to it then,
Yeah.
because the source makes a pretty bold claim right off the bat.
Okay.
It says the vast majority, something like 90% it claims, of people who become millionaires now, self-made ones, they didn't get there just by saving more and more money.
90%. Wow. That definitely catches your attention.
It does.
Flies right in the face of that, classic advice we've all heard forever. Save diligently, put money aside. That's the main path.
Exactly. That traditional wisdom really emphasizes saving as like the #1 tool.
Right. And this source, it doesn't say saving is bad, but it connects that 90% number back to what you were saying earlier.
The rising costs, inflation.
Yeah. It suggests that if you're only relying on saving, your money's constantly fighting against inflation, against those rising prices.
So it makes it incredibly hard, statistically speaking, at least according to this source, to build significant wealth just through saving alone, not in today's economy.
Okay, so if not just saving, what did this 90% group do differently?
Well, this is the core idea the source presents. It argues they understood something important, something it calls a fundamental economic shift.
Fundamental economic shift.
A shift that the source claims a lot of people are still sort of missing when they think about their financial future.
Let's dig into that. What exactly is this shift, this new wealth paradigm? If it's not just about socking away more cash, what is it, according to the source, I mean?
So the source basically argues that the game has changed. Moved away from wealth being mostly about how much you earn from your job and how much you can save from that, linearly,
Okay.
And it's moved towards wealth coming from owning and using assets, things that either generate their own income or, crucially, go up in value much faster than inflation.
Ah, okay. So less about just the amount you save and more about owning things. Like what? Businesses, maybe certain kinds of real estate, intellectual property, things that can grow on their own, not just dollar by dollar.
That's precisely the idea. The source suggests this 90% figured out how to get capital or systems working for them,
Right.
generating returns or appreciation. That just leaves simple saving behind, especially when you factor in inflation eroding those savings. They weren't just earners and savers, they became like owners, architects of value.
And the source's point is that that's the key thing many are missing. They're still focused on the old save more plan.
In an economy that, according to this perspective, rewards something different now. Understanding and using this leverage, owning assets, creating scalable value. That's the new paradigm it talks about.
Interesting. It really frames things differently, doesn't it? It definitely makes you think about where you should be putting your learning efforts, your financial focus.
If significant wealth building is the goal, yeah, it suggests a shift in strategy might be needed.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive into mastering the new wealth paradigm really highlights attention, doesn't it?
Definitely.
You've got the traditional path, save, save, save. But then this source comes along with this 90% statistic, arguing most self-made millionaires today took a different route.
A route based on understanding this fundamental economic shift towards owning and leveraging assets that outperform inflation. Things that grow.
Yeah, it challenges that old advice by pointing to, well, the economic reality. Many people feel rising costs, inflation making saving feel less effective, and it offers this alternative model based on supposedly how wealth is actually being built now.
Right. It's a framework to consider.
So it leaves us with a pretty big question based on this source. If 90% of these self-made millionaires didn't primarily save their way there, but instead understood how to leverage assets in this new paradigm, what does that suggest about the knowledge, maybe the strategies that you might need to explore for yourself in today's economy? Something to think about.